Welcome to Entrepreneurs and Fuego. What happens here stays here.
Really?
Absolutely.
Interesting.
I just heard you say that, and that sounds like a pretty good slogan. Or what happens here stays here. We're entrepreneurs, where we're documenting your journey one digital footprint at a time. We came up with that slogan about, I don't know, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so I'm still trying to memorize that. Yeah, I still got to remember a little bit more. But I am privileged to have with me Julie Armstrong. And I think that the best way to introduce yourself is you're small business champion, because you are an entrepreneur yourself, but you also do a lot of work for ASBA. So tell us exactly what it is that you do.
What I do actually for ASBA,
Yep.
the Arizona Small Business Association, is I'm the Community Engagement and Events Manager. So that's just coordinating all of the outreach of what we do in the community. Things like this, partnering with the Office Pile, working with the Top Foundation, and really getting our message from the small business in Arizona.
And by the way, you put a hell of a party, man. I mean, all of your events are just awesome.
Thank you.
And I'm sorry for interrupting, but I have to say this, because the last event that you put together, that fall special, and you got one coming up, the Christmas special in December 2015. It was just spectacular. I kept telling people, it's the best networking event that I've been to the whole year. I am sorry. I'm just sorry. I just had to say that, because I needed to remember that to say that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Well,
so that's what you do for ASBA. So you're doing a spectacular job. Absolutely.
Thank you. And that's what we're really doing is looking to elevate the excellence of small business in Arizona, one entrepreneur at a time. And that's really where I come into that whole thing. I was an entrepreneur myself, helping people brand and repurpose their business, and really helping them get their message out. So what is it that they want to say? So many people work in their business and not on their business. So if I ask you today, what is your business? A lot of people, they can tell you what their passion is,
Sure.
or they can tell you the widget that they sell, or
right.
whatever it is that they're doing, or how many employees they have, but they can't really tell you why you should be doing business with them. And so that was my passion.
That's a very, 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 very good point. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
That was my true passion. And in that, being a member of ASBA and a partner with ASBA over the last 8 years, really just made sense to be a part of the team at ASBA, because then that way I could really help a larger group. I mean, I was just really kind of more of a boutique service type organization on my own. And now with the arm that I have and the passion that I have, I can share that with so many more people.
Something that you said, though, Julie, is that a lot of people have the passion, right? But they don't really convey the reason why we should do business with you.
Right.
Yeah, you're passionate, sounds good.
Right.
And you've got that fire, it looks good.
Right.
But why should I do business with you?
Right. They don't know how to sell or brand or market themselves. And maybe they're a little shy or intimidated. Maybe there's somebody in their space that's doing something similar to what they're doing, so that leaves them a little bit more reserved. Instead of coming up with their own model and their own brand for what it is they're doing. And I always tell people, get outside the box. For me, I've never been in a box. So I don't even know what it's like to even tip my toe in there.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. I don't think that you know what a box looks like, man. No. You're just phenomenal. You're just really passionate, but also I buy into you. You know what I mean? And that's what you're talking about, because I see Julie Armstrong and I see a brand right away.
Right.
Whereas I talk to other people that might be passionate, but I can't. It's not. I can't buy into them.
But I think the difference is too
how does
people
that happen?
are so ingrained in being, for example, you. It would be very easy for you to be entrenched in just being the Office Pile and not going out and being the true you.
Yeah.
People want to see who you are, then they see your company. Right. And a lot of people are living in the company and not really who they are, and building their brand with who they are. So I think that's the difference with me. My brand is me. I mean, it's who I am. It's all I have. And so I think that's the real difference.
So let's talk about that. So did you always know inside of you that you were an entrepreneur, that you had this fire inside of you?
I did.
You did. And,
I did.
All right. And
I spent 16 years in corporate America, and I always knew there was something bigger or greater or something else out there that had my name on it. I just didn't know what it was.
What did you do in corporate America?
Human resources.
So take me to the day or the time, the week, the moment, the hour where you said, this is really not for me. I'm just tired of working for the man. I think that I can do much better on my own as an
January
entrepreneur.
2006 was the exact moment when
What
I
happened?
said, what happened was, it just, the whole corporate thing started to kind of wear on me. After 16 years of really kind of being in human resources and going through that grind and, really kind of helping other people be successful when I knew I could, and I had successes, I'm not saying that, but when I was helping other people elevate and be successful, I knew there was a greater future for me. And
why not help yourself?
Exactly. And I said exactly to myself, by December 31st, 2006, I will not be in human resources. I have no clue what I will be doing. I have no clue. And in August of 2006, I became the community relations director for a company called jobbing.com. And that changed my whole, it was a complete, so hence my company name Paradigm Promoters, that was a complete paradigm shift for me and really my jumping off point to say, the only thing I've ever known was human resources, and if I don't take the opportunity or the chance now or that leap of faith, I'm never going to do it.
So you had a plan, and you knew that even as you were taking a risk,
it was a huge risk.
A huge risk, but it was a calculated risk nonetheless, because you were confident in yourself, correct?
Sure.
I mean, you know that the best asset that you had, the best card that you were ever going to play is you.
Right.
Because you believed in your brand.
Correct.
And so that's one of the things that I find out about entrepreneurs, the people that we talk to here in the show, is that they are risk takers. We are risk takers, but the risk that is being taken is not a reckless risk, if you will,
Right.
but it's a calculated risk.
Right.
Because you know that your best asset is you, and if you fail, you can always go back to you.
Right. Well, and that's what I had 16 years of human resources. So where was the fault in taking that chance or that opportunity? I could always go back to what it is that I know. So, but in my mind at that moment, I knew I was never going to go back.
So you give the news to your family, hey, I want to be
that was, yes. Yeah, that was news to my family, that was for sure.
And were they supportive? Were they like, no, why don't you just stay in this safe little bubble right here?
Right.
Why step away from this little bubble? Why do this?
Well, the fortunate part is I had parents, fortunate, unfortunate, there's two sides to it. One, I'd had parents that had always encouraged me to be myself. When teachers were like, Julie's too loud, or she's distracting the class, or we need to put her over
that's
here.
Your brand. That's your brand.
We need to do this with
The
her, or whatever.
teachers didn't know that was your brand.
Right. They were like, well, you need to do this other stuff. And my parents were like, no, we want her to be her.
Right.
But on the other side, I also had both of them with 30-year careers with the same organizations. So to go to them and say, look, I'm kind of done with HR, I'm going to move on. And my dad's like, you're leaving the security of a salary, of a 401k,
sure,
of all of this stuff, and you're going to take a risk out to something to the unknown. And so it wasn't really a concept that my parents could really buy into right away. But the great part about it was I had my brother who was already an entrepreneur. So it was easier to get him as an ally and bring him on board with the whole concept and get him to speak for me. So I think that was the easier part.
So believe in yourself. Have a
be your own cheerleader first.
Be your own cheerleader. Believe in yourself. Have a great support system. Find allies who are going to support you.
Your champions. Know who your champions are.
Correct.
And I will now put you on that list of champions. You have now been added to the list.
Oh my goodness, I'm a champion. I'm going to be in a winner's box. All right, so what happened? All right, so now let's move forward a little bit, and then now you start this journey, right?
Right.
And have you failed during this time?
Absolutely, absolutely.
And tell me about that, because it's great to talk about success and everything else, but I want to also talk about, if you failed, how you dealt with that failure and what kind of message you can give anybody that is failed, and how do you move forward? How do you overcome that?
My biggest failure was believing in other people and trusting. That was my biggest failure, and it was probably my biggest aha moment was the times when you're doing business with people and it's like, well, I'm gonna pay you. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that, and you have no contract or anything with them, and you're really going on that handshake or that trust, or hey, I've already done the work for you, and now kind of here's your invoice. And the biggest failures that I had were really trusting people, and now all of a sudden you have to become the collector.
And
you're a collection agency all of a sudden.
How do you?
It makes you very humble. It humbles you immensely when you know that you've got your mortgage and your car payment and your bills due, and now you're your only resource or your only source of income, and that person writing you the check can make all the difference.
You're depending on Freddie Inc. for your mortgage payment and your bills, and Freddie Inc. is like, I got a net 30 or a net 60, just hang in there. You're like, son of a bitch, and my mortgage is due right now, right? So,
or even paying yourself or paying your employees. I mean, having the trust that the people that are contracting with you or working with you are trusting you're going to pay them.
Wait a minute. So entrepreneurs, they pay themselves?
Yeah.
Go ahead. Really?
Well, you're supposed to. If your bookkeeper, you better get on him.
I didn't know that I was supposed to draw a salary. Oh man, goody. Now I know what I need to do.
I think my biggest failures were learning that you really have to keep business, personal, and really stick to your guns when it comes to dealing with people.
Gotcha. So how do you deal with that, and how do you deal with failure right now? How do you overcome those obstacles? Do you sulk? Do you go into a room? Do you cry, or do you take an assertive stance? What do you do?
Well, you do cry at first because you're disappointed in yourself.
But you can't afford to cry for too long.
No.
Go ahead and cry. Go ahead and suffer a little bit.
Right. You get the disappointment out of the way of, look, this happened to me, or I allowed this to happen to me.
Right.
And we're all about making decisions, right? So I think you really have to go in and put down your position and show people who you really are, and that you're not going to be a pushover. And that was probably the hardest thing for me because, like I said, when there are friendships involved or there are personal relationships involved, and you are working to help other people evolve along the way with you, or you bring them on board with you, for your passion, and they're on board with you and they disappoint you, you've got to find a way out of that. And it makes it very difficult. It's like being in any type of relationship, whether it be a friendship, a spouse, a significant other. It's the same thing. There are going to be disappointments, and how you deal with those and how you move forward. And two of the people that were really helped open my eyes are still my best friends today.
Got it. Did anybody see, when you were going through those times, did anybody see the fact that you are a woman as a sign of weakness and perhaps try to take advantage of that fact?
I really don't think so.
Good.
I think
Good.
I think confidence and perseverance shows through the gender.
Nice.
So I really do. I do believe that. I think that could have been a factor if I would have allowed it to be.
Nice. What advice you give to young entrepreneurs?
To entrepreneurs is stay true to yourself.
Yes.
Know who you are. Mm-hmm. Don't bite off more than you can chew. So, if you've got one thing working for you really, really well, don't try to duplicate it. Work on that and perfect it. because I think sometimes a lot of people try to bite off more than they can chew, and that can cause a lot of problems.
You know, you and I could be here, sitting here, like for a few hours.
Absolutely.
Just chatting. People would be willing coffee
Absolutely.
for us to, just a little food and everything else. They wouldn't have to move us from here, man.
And there's so much more you don't even know.
Of course there is. Of course there is. Did you see this T-shirt fly, by the way?
I love it.
This is for you, Julie
I
Armstrong.
love it.
The
That's
Office
so
Pile.
awesome.
This is a cool T-shirt. I don't know your size, so my apologies. So, we just have like a one size fits everybody.
And I will wear it with great pride.
I sure hope so.
Obviously, I will absolutely wear it with great pride. And this is not my last stop at the Office Pile with the Top Foundation and Entrepreneurs in Fuego.
What you're doing with ASBA, I absolutely respect, because everybody should have been at that party, man. I mean, the spread they said. So whoever didn't go,
The mac and cheese station. I put you in the wrong place. Really, it was because the mac and cheese station was right
across from me,
Yeah.
and they had this little mac and cheese thing is like this. So so they kind of rations you how much you can eat, and I'm like sneaking them.
How many did you have? Tell me. Be honest. How
I
many
won't
did you
say.
have?
I won't say. But can I sort of like fingers? How many?
Okay, 10. Wow. No wonder they
I
ran
had
out
a
of the
lot,
cup.
man.
No wonder they ran out of cups.
I had to go to the gym the first thing in the morning, man. It was so good. Julie Armstrong, is always such a pleasure, dear.
It's such a pleasure.
I appreciate it. You're amazing, and I appreciate it. The messages that you send out to entrepreneurs are amazing, and that's what we learned. That's what the show is all about.
Awesome. Thank you so much for having. I'm honored that you selected me as one of the people to be here, and I look forward to coming back and continuing the journey with you.
You better.
Absolutely.
And with that, we're out.